This isn't just a podcast, it's a reckoning, a calling, a return to what's real, to what's right, to what's yours. Because somewhere along the way, leadership became a game of sacrifice, success became a cage, and legacy, something you leave behind instead of something you live right now. The modern culture is here to change that. This is where old rules crumble and something truer, deeper, and far more powerful takes their place. Where leadership is about presence, where success is aligned, and where legacy lives in every moment you choose to lead differently. Co-hosted by Cari and Leah Rowling, this is the space where fire meets flow, where strategy bows to wisdom, and where disruption isn't feared, it's embraced. If you're ready to build without burnout, to create without compromise, to lead in a way that feels like you, welcome to the modern culture.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Modern Culture Podcast. We're so excited that you are here. We are diving into Principle 7 today around purpose-oriented leadership. And trust me, this one hits deep as kind of they all do. Because in today's world, we're told to keep chasing, to keep proving, to keep climbing. But what we want to bring forward to you all today is purpose is not something that you wait to find. It's something that you choose. You decide on right now, today, every day, every decision, and every conversation. There was this, and probably still is, this idea that this purpose-driven, right? And we want to reorient that because purpose isn't a destination to drive to, right? It's an orientation to come back home to, always home to. It's a way of leading with intention. It's a way of leading with consciousness, even when the path isn't clear. It's about choosing mission over metrics, which is kind of the theme that we've been building as we've been releasing each one of these principles in this season. And so this is what we get to talk about today. We get to talk about the mission over the metrics. We get to talk about alignment over approval. We get to talk about impact over applause. And so if you're ready, right, to really stop leading and looking for an algorithm and start leading for your legacy, you're in the right place. So let's begin. Welcome, Miss Cari.
Hi, love.
Hi.
Hi. We kind of giggled last week, I think, when we were navigating through our last principle. And then we saw, purpose-oriented is coming up next. Well, this ought to be great because the universe loves to line up experiences and all sorts of love. And I will call shake down, shake ups in order to bring some of these things potentially back home. So I am so excited about this conversation because I don't know. I would love to say that these are principles that you just embody in a moment and move forward, but they're not. These principles are something that get to continue to grow, that continue to open themselves up as we evolve in our lives and as we come back home to who we are consistently. I think it's an evolution of returning as opposed to like I walked through the door. So I'm excited to dive into the purpose-oriented and the purpose-oriented versus purpose-driven, right? So I know that's kind of where we started when we were talking in the principle itself. Like there's a huge distinction there, but how is it that you would define, right? That purpose-oriented?
Well, yeah, because again, it's not a destination outside of us. It's
Right.
an orientation within us. It's the conscious choice to lead within. It's not discovering some magical calling, right? Or like I like to say, where it's not waiting for Amazon Prime to like drop and knock on our door, say purpose is here, right?
Yeah.
Come get it. It's about deciding what matters and aligning everything that you do, everything that you are, your actions, your mindset, your strategy with that mission. And it's about leading with clarity, not chaos, a massive amount of intention, not impulse, conscious decisiveness, not reaction, right? And so it's understanding that success isn't in a certification on the wall, right? It's not a trophy on your book stand. It's something that you have within you. It's a truth that you live. So that is how we at the modern culture have kind of redefined and reinvited this very, I'll even say it, overplayed word, right?
Mhm.
Purpose. Just know your purpose. Just go find it. Right? Go do that. And then how many, like me included, I'm raising my hand here if you don't see, how many books and courses have I done on purpose? Feeling so frustrated because I couldn't find it. Because in all the books and all the courses, it was asking me to find something outside of myself. It never invited me to return home to myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
No, I had to hit rock bottom for that, friends.
Mhm.
So that's what I'll say that it is. And you don't have to hit rock bottom to find it. You just have to invite yourself home to it.
So let's break down purpose just a little bit more, can we?
Yeah.
Because I do
Yeah.
think that it is such a buzzword, and we love to hit these like, oh, what's the next $1 billion thing we're gonna navigate? Oh, worth, the purpose, right? Like what's
Vulnerability,
yes,
authenticity.
yes, like let's double down on that because that's our next $1 billion industry.
Mm.
So when we look at purpose,
Mhm.
right? Like what is purpose? I think we say so many things around it, and we can say yes, it's coming back home to self,
Mhm.
and yes, it's that internal mission, that internal drive. But for somebody like people are trained to grasp this, like you say, we
Mhm.
buy the books, we do the courses, we watch the movies, we do all the things to go, oh my God, what's my purpose? Is there a feel to it? Is there an energy around it? Is there a sense? Is there a quiet whisper? Yes, to all of
Mm.
the above, by the way,
Yes.
that brings you into purpose.
Yeah. I I think in a single answer, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are the search is over.
Right.
I found it. Find a mirror. It's you.
Yeah.
Okay? So mystery is solved. You are the purpose. Now, how do you want to live your life? How do you want to align with your genius, and how do you want to align with the nudges on your soul, instead of continuing to discount them, thinking that it can't be within me, it
Yeah.
must be out there,
Yeah.
right? It's in
Yeah.
a newspaper, it's in a course, it's in a book. No, it isn't. It is you.
Yeah.
And because we've lost trust in that, we've
Mhm.
lost trust with the very nudge that is trying to get our attention to explore the depth of what is possible for us,
Right.
right?
1000%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. It's you. It's you.
Thank
It's
you.
not anything else.
No, no. And it's so brilliant too. And just to like bring this back home a little bit, I was having a conversation with a client yesterday, right? And we were talking about legacy. And I said, what's the legacy? It's my kids. No, honey, right? And so we had to navigate through and have that conversation. I said, no, it's you, because it's how you show up in the world. You can tell your kids one thing, they are going to do what they see. It's mirror neurons. This is how we operate, right? And so it's how you show up in everything that you do. That purpose really is you. It's not that legacy you build through somebody else, it's the legacy you build through you.
Yes.
Right. So I love that. Thank you for like just very concisely the purpose, right? It's you. So
Yes.
what is it not then? Right? It's not everything around you.
No, it's not everything around you. It's not found in a book. It's not in the perfect moment. It's not a sign. It's not chasing trends or measuring metrics, right? It's not sacrificing yourself for the greater good of everyone else. Um, it's and I if we go back to that legacy piece, I remember a keynote that you gave, and you had talked about it, and it's very important that we bring it full circle back here. Legacy isn't something that you leave,
Mm-mm.
it's something that you live. And I
Mhm.
would say purpose, right, isn't something that you find outside of you. It is the exploration of you.
Mhm.
And it is choosing that you every single day. In a world that might call that selfish, I would call it selfish to not do that. Because when we don't do that, what happens is we put all sorts of unnecessary expectation on everybody else to absolve you from your own unsettledness
Yes.
in
Yes.
search of a purpose, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
that's what it is not.
Yeah. 1000%. So give us the science, babe.
You betcha. Okay. So again, we wanted to bring the science in here because we like to think that we have all sorts of listeners, right? We have those that are grounded more in science and math, and we have those that are more in arts and the philosophy of it. But these aren't just like pie in the sky, like philosophical like conversations that we want to bring forward to you, right? This is not Carrie and I's opinion, although we get to have it because it's our podcast,
Right.
right? This is science, right? And so we've been talking about what the neurological science is, what the psychological science is, and what the organizational science is of all these 10 principles. So if you're a science geek, go catch them because they're pretty cool. But neurologically, like purpose, just in general, right? It activates our brain's reward system,
Mm.
right? And again, you are the purpose. And when you come home to that, right, there's not a day that you won't have that dopamine fix. Like, think about that. How cool was that? You don't need anything outside of you. There's enough neurological tricks to make you think you're happy when you're not. Guess what makes you happy? Realizing that you're all that's ever required. You're all that's ever needed, right? Not just when we win,
Mhm.
but when we engage in being a human, when we engage in the 50-50 that is life, right? Psychologically, having a clear purpose, meaning having a clear understanding that you are the purpose. Let me just bring this completely home every single time, right? It improves our own emotional intelligence. It lowers anxiety because anxiety in of itself, 99% of all anxiety is just separation anxiety, right?
Mhm.
Why? Because you're separating yourself from a purpose that you think is outside of yourself.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
Anxiety is solved for when you recognize and you choose yourself as purpose.
Mhm.
And then organizationally, like purpose orientation, right? Understanding that as you orient home to the purpose that you are, right? And organizations that understand that actually put people over profits, they outperform in profitability,
Mhm.
right? Because it requires the people. And we miss that sometimes. We
Mhm.
miss that. We miss aligning people's purpose, their genius,
Mhm.
them who they are, and we try to put them in roles that they don't belong in, and then we wonder why we don't have great alignment and we don't have profitability on the other side of that. So that's in a nutshell the skinny of the science. Lots more research if you're getting on it. Just Google it, right? Google it, chat it. It's there. It's amazing. Um, so now we know what it is. We know what it isn't. We know that you're it. We know why scientifically it might be a good choice to just
Yeah.
to just think that maybe Carrie and I are right about this and to call off the search. Stop reading for it in a book, right? And come home
Yes,
to it.
please.
Come home to it. But if you're still not sure, if you're still not sure whether you've accepted purpose as you,
Mm.
right? What are the signs?
It's a hard one. Can I just say that? Can I just
Yeah,
say that the purpose as you is a hard thing to accept,
for sure.
right? It's a hard thing to acknowledge. It's a very we have spent so much of our lives efforting in the proving in
Mm,
order to have the identity, in order to be the purpose, or in order to have that purpose justified back to us through the metrics and through the measurements and through the kudos and the applause. And right, because if I get that, then I must be onto something and I must be doing something right.
no.
But when you are over identifying with those outcomes, right, and you start to treat those goals like they're the proof, you build your worth around the achievement. And then when the achievement isn't there, you don't understand the purpose as you because you collapse when the numbers don't validate you.
Mm,
Right.
yeah.
And it's like a constant what's next? What's the thing? It's the inability to truly sit in silence. It's that urgency, it's that perfectionism, it's that constant task doing. And what happens is when you find yourself in this space of purpose driven, let's call it, as opposed to the purpose oriented, when you're in that purpose driven, you're tasking the hell out of yourself. Okay. Because you're trying to prove something, and you're not trying to prove it to anybody else. You're trying to prove it to yourself. You're trying to prove your own value. You're trying to prove to yourself, right? That you're valuable or that you're worthy, believing that you're proving it to somebody else. But what happens when you get caught in the tasky is you pull everybody else down with you. You pull everybody else into the tasky. You pull everybody else out of orientation of their own purpose and their own alignment to validate or to justify you being out of it. Does that make sense? So this is what we're going to start. This is how you know, because your behavior is going to be constantly doing in order to protect you because of that lost connection. Purpose requires you to be still. Purpose requires you to go inside and ask questions, to really have a self-awareness around what is your genius, because you can talk yourself out of it really damn quick. I've done it way too many times. I've talked to myself out of my genius. I've talked it into the tasking and the doing and the list making. Leah, we know this, right? Because the list making apparently is the thing that validates and is proof of the goal, which then brings proof of the purpose. Because purpose we're placing outside of self. When you have that purpose within, when you understand that it truly is you, that is what amplifies everything forward. And when you do that, you allow somebody else in to sit within the stillness of their own purpose. And it's no longer a fight.
No, it isn't. And it doesn't mean our fellow task makers, right?
That's
It doesn't mean that you have to like rip up all of your sheets.
Please don't.
Just know that you are no more purposeful in the checking off of the box that you were when you wrote that
list. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Right.
Everybody has that genius. Everybody has that purpose. And for some, that is the way that it expresses.
Yes.
Right? Are we allowing it to express, or are we driving it to change? That's the question.
Yes. So
right?
Good. So good.
That's
yes. Yes. So in this drive for change, in this hustle, I'll call it this hustle culture for worth and for purpose, right? Why is it more important than ever right now that we disrupt, which is what the modern culture is here to do? We disrupt this way of leadership. We disrupt this way of living. We disrupt this way of loving so that we invite people to come back home to the genius of themselves. Why is it so important right now?
Because clarity is currency. Because there's so much noise and there's so much hustle, and there's been so much of this drive that it has caused leaders to become emotionally bankrupt, exhausted, suffocated, reactive. And not only does it suffocate the leader, it suffocates the mission, it suffocates the movement, it suffocates the grander purpose. And when you find yourself in those positions of exhaustion, you become very reactive. You don't have the ability to truly come back home to that purpose, to that self, right? And it is important now because it's needed now more than ever. Purpose is the thing that's going to hold you steady in a world full of chaos. It just is, right? If you don't have that, I'm going to call it that internal anchor of purpose within you, you are going to start floating all over the damn place. You're going to start chasing everything, and fear's going to become the sail, right? You're just kind of all over. What's this and what's this and what about this and how about this? Because you haven't found that security of understanding of that purpose of self within. That's why it's important, right? You've got too many leaders leading from a space of scarcity, leading from a space of proving, leading from a space of driven as opposed to oriented. And just look at the world around us, friends. We need to have that stability. We need to have that clarity in order to be able to navigate forward as things continue to collapse around us, because, my friends, they will, right? They will. Just look at the times that we're in. When I say sometimes it needs a shake up, shake down in order to form realignment, that's not just with you.
Mm-mm.
That's with the world at large,
Mhm.
right? So it's
Mhm.
coming back home to that purpose of self. That's why it's so important now.
Mhm. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So
Yeah.
good. So good.
Yeah.
Um, so when we think about,
Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned it, that realignment, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as I was thinking, and as you were saying, like really that if we were to flip that purpose driven,
Yep.
chasing for it and orient it back to self,
Yeah.
right? It is that alignment of self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we get to make, or we can choose to make, alignment, right,
Mm-hmm.
easier than all the distractions, right? All the chaos, all the things that we're looking to do to prove our worth to, right? All the ways that, to your point, fear is our sail,
Mm-hmm.
right? All the ways that scarcity is our driver,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we call it our purpose seeker,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we have to realign ourselves back with the truth that that is only scarcity only begots more scarcity,
Yes.
right? And so the practice then of really orienting ourselves back into purpose, back into an alignment with the truth of who it is that we are, is, to your point, some stillness, some
Mm-hmm.
space, right? Some self-awareness, some internal discovery.
Mm-hmm.
And the question could be, like daily, could be, if I truly believed that I was the purpose,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Because again, it's not perfection, it's a practice. Like all
Yes.
of these principles are just not like, oh, I'm just going to choose that I'm going to oh, here I am, done, my work is over.
Yeah.
No, it's a daily practice of
Yes.
deciding and choosing, okay, if I
Mm-hmm.
am the purpose,
Mm-hmm.
what do I need to be today? Who do I need to be today? Who do I need to be for me? Who do I
Mm-hmm.
need to be for the people that I love, the people that I lead, the people
Mm-hmm.
that I live with,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the world at large were just to ask themselves that one question every day?
Mm-hmm.
What does the best of me look like today?
Yeah.
What does me in purpose, as purpose, get to be today?
Mm-hmm.
What would I ask myself to do differently? How would I ask myself to love a little differently, to show a little bit more compassion, to be a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
curious,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what we're asking. That's what we're asking in all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just to go a little bit beyond that stillness, what I will say is for the high achievers who continue to achieve, who continue to drive, who continue to push, that stillness is the hardest thing that you will ever go through. Because in that stillness, you will consistently question the thing that you're supposed to be doing. You will consistently question what it is that you're missing. You will consistently question where it is that you're supposed to be, as opposed to just being with you. And I think when you can start to come back to a greater awareness around what it is, even just in those quiet moments of what it is that you get so excited about, that you get the most pleasure from, that people love to see of you or experience with you, right? If we can start to come back into that, either the like, God, what lights me up? What lights me up? Or where am I placing myself that I feel so completely drained?
Mm-hmm.
Then we may be able to come back into that as well. But it is just in the moment of stopping,
Mm-hmm.
just intentionally stopping and allowing yourself to see where the mind goes. Where should I be? What should I be doing? And then how do you get comfortable in the space where you currently are? That's what I would say in addition to that
Mm-hmm.
question. So I love it. Purpose oriented is incredible. It has been a beautiful lesson for me, I would say, again and again, over the course of the past years, weeks, days. So I'm excited for this. I've got a little reflection I'm going to drop into our community for people to be able to hop out. So if you want to join us, the Facebook community, the Modern Culture, please join there. I will drop this reflection in the end of proving and the beginning of purpose, and we'll go from there. But friends, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm excited for our conversation for our principal next week.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to The Modern Culture, co-hosted by Leah Rowling and Carrie Kenzie. This is the space where fire meets flow, where strategy bows to wisdom, and where disruption isn't feared, it's embraced. Tune in every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Network, because this isn't just a podcast. It's a reckoning, a calling, a return.